I am Liz Simpson with the Book Garden. I'm here today to give you a few tips for read aloud sessions. We read aloud a lot of times. Sometimes we read to our own children, we read in libraries to groups of various ages, or even in school classrooms. So here are some great tips for you. If you're reading to maybe a baby and me class or young toddlers, make sure to pick books that we have very large pictures, large words, and possibly even some engaging features like touchy-feely things or pop-ups. Even though they aren't able to interact with them directly, this helps continue to pull them into the book and to the story that you're telling. You can also pick books that are relevant to what they are doing. Some children are getting ready to go to preschool or school, or the dentist, or things like that. Grocery shopping with their parents, being mindful of others. Again, try to pick books that have a short and brief message, or books that have one or two primary characters to help make identifying the story simpler for children who are learning to read. As we mentioned about interactive books, a really fun one that I love is There's a Mouse About the House. Books like this that have engaging features, such as taking a mouse, pushing it through, and having the children be able to follow the little mouse and keep their eyes focused on what you're doing while you continue to read the story is a wonderful way to have children help you and stay engaged. You can also, I'm having a little mouse problem here. You can also have a helper help you with your mouse if you like. Fun things like that have little hidden features are really engaging for students. D is for Duck is a great one for preschoolers or kindergartners or even first grades to help reinforce our alphabet. Books like this that have simple storylines, but again a main character, and are applicable to what they are learning will help children stay engaged. This is a great opportunity to have them participate in telling you what letter is coming next. Speaking of who's next, books that have hide-and-seek features to them within their storyline are excellent books for read-alouds. We want to make sure that children are continuing to engage and participate in order to keep the engagement of the audience. In this book, Who's Next, children would guess who is coming next and who left the page. Every page has a different feature and different animals coming and going, which helps kids need to be quiet and pay attention so that they can participate in the guessing game. Also, when we get a little bit older in our group readings, having books again with main characters, but with wonderful supporting characters, lovely messages, rhyming, and a healthy storyline are going to help keep children engaged. We want to make sure that at that age we aren't going too far into deeper storylines or heavy politics or things like that. I wouldn't be reading them the history manual, if you know what I mean. This is I Say Ooh, You Say Ah. Again, this is kind of a repeat after me book, really engaging, very fun. Children will need to use their hands, their arms, and even their loud voices to help you read this story. It is a great way to help children stay excited about reading. So repeat after me books, interactive books with different things that we can engage with, some touchy-feelies, all of those things will help pull that focal point. Things that I would avoid if reading with small children are informational books or pamphlets. This book, while looking adorable and great for individual reading, would be a struggle to enjoy in a read aloud session. Having information with small little facts all throughout the page is definitely meant for individual reading. Another thing that I would avoid are lift the flap books. Again, these are really exciting if you're an individual reader, but not as fun if you're sitting in an audience trying to figure out what that tiny little picture is and the words surrounding it. It will also take you a long time to navigate through those lift the flap books. Keep your books simple, engaging, And also, try to avoid books that you cannot read cover to cover. While collections are very fun at older age groups and at younger age groups in a home setting, they are not as useful in a read aloud setting. We have found that having a book read cover to cover is more rewarding for a small child than having to wonder what's left in the rest of the book. So, moving on, if you are going to be reading to young teens, mature teens, young adults, and even senior centers, make sure to try to pick books that you can read and that will also be relevant to their age group and exciting for them. Feel free at this stage to pick a chapter book or a larger book. Nonfiction books are also acceptable based on the themes or the holidays surrounding you. When you pick a chapter book, make sure to continuously remind them the name of the book and the author, because if they have to miss a read aloud session, say the next library time, they'd still know that they can pick up the book and finish the chapters on their own. You can also find fun books that have cover-to-cover stories, but are briefly illustrated for casual display throughout your story time. This will help audiences continue to look forward to when you turn the book and engage them in the pictures. Again, this is a traditional version of The Jungle Book illustrated by S. Ford. Now, as I advise, not reading the books that you can't finish cover-to-cover stories for that have segmented stories or collections per se for the younger children. Older audiences do appreciate them, and they can separate the fact that this is just one story in a larger book. Especially for seniors, if you're returning week by week, you could pick a collection of, say, these illustrated stories from China and read one story and let them know to come back next week for the next story in the book. Thank you. Again, I am Liz with The Book Garden. You can follow me at www.facebook.com/groups/The Book Garden with Liz, or you may shop for any of these book titles and more at www.thebookgardenstore.com. Thank you. Have a great day.